Hey everyone, grateful to have you guys tuning into today's message. And today I want to share one that may or may not come across a little bit of a rant because it's something that's super important and I've been talking to so many different people, the people that I've been interviewing for you guys, the people that are in my life, my coaching clients, friends, family, everybody. And there is just this common theme and I want what I share with you guys today to be something that hits home and hits to the heart and allows each and every one of us to step up in our lives and take responsibility, because at the end of the day, you know, we are the only people in our lives who are ultimately going to make it a fulfilling existence or make it a really unfulfilling, meaningless existence. Okay, so we hold that power, and that's what I want to talk to you guys about today. And this isn't so that we can feel bad about how we're living our lives. It's actually the opposite. It's to put you in the seat of empowerment. All right, in the driver's seat of your own life, and stop being in the co-pilot position. All right, so today's message is that your life is either meaningful or meaningless, and that is 100% your responsibility. And I want to really dive into this one and unpack it for you guys, because I've been speaking to different people who've been very depressed about the current circumstances of the world, rightfully so. You know, there's a lot going on. A lot of people are challenged. A lot of people are unwell. A lot of people have lost loved ones in their lives. A lot of people's whole lives have been turned upside down. They don't know where they're going to be able to generate money and an income. The economy's been affected. We know all the negatives, right? We're all aware. We all can watch the news. We know what's going on. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people falling into a state of depression, right? We're all in this situational depression where the circumstances have changed. They don't match our blueprint or our model of the world. And we are focused on all the things that are wrong and all the things we feel like we can't control. And we are constantly thinking those thoughts over and over again and landing ourselves in this state and experience of depression, all right? And worry and concern. And so there's parts of that we just really need to accept and acknowledge and feel through and experience, because that's, you know, the reality of the situation. There's parts that are negative, obviously. And then there's this part where it's like, hang on a minute, you know, what you get to control your experience of reality, okay? There might be circumstances in this world that are very challenging, are very negative, but what are you choosing to do about it? Right? Are you choosing to be helpless and hopeless and, you know, just feel out of control and feel like the whole world, you're waiting for an answer, you're waiting for the world to determine your course of action? Or are you on the other side and you are somebody who is gonna take this time to actually create some meaning in your life? Because right now, the world has hit the reset button. Things aren't gonna go back to the normal as we've had them. Things have changed, and things are gonna continue to change, no matter whether we want that to happen or not. What I'm a big believer in is not just operating in this present moment in terms of, okay, what's happening now and what are people saying now, or what's happened in the past. All that stuff is valuable, to be going back into the past and learning from those lessons, being in the present moment and experiencing reality. But where our focus, and where I'm seeing so many people trip up right now, where our focus should be is actually what is meaningful to me. And what is the kind of life I want to move toward from this point? What is in my control is whether or not I'm creating meaning in my life and creating a meaningful existence, or I'm getting lost in meaninglessness and I'm disconnecting and I am pushing away the very things in my life that would ultimately create the fulfillment that I would seek. So you are always at a point where you can either choose the meaningful direction or the meaningless direction. Most people think that that meaningless direction is the easier path, right? We don't have to engage our feelings. We don't have to set ourselves up for failure. We don't have to worry about what the world will think about us if we are, really putting our soul into something or really speaking from our heart and our truth and experiencing our emotional juice, right? Most people are opting for the meaningless habitual patterns of behavior. Just focus on my survival, just focus on the material realm, just make my house a little better, or maybe I can plan for some experience that I'm going to have, and just think that in that next thing that I create or grow or in a material way, that's going to be the savior of my life. And I don't have to deal with what's really going on under the surface, which is all the suppressed emotions, all the pains and hurts of the past that I refuse to acknowledge or address or move beyond. Most of us are thinking that's going to be the easy path. So let's just forget about the meaningfulness. Let's just forget about, what really matters to us, because that might be a bit scarier, or maybe we might fail at it. So let's just opt for the meaningless realm, right? And let's focus on the material. But what those people don't realize is that that is the path. If you project out into the future and you get to the end of your existence, that is the actual path that you are going to be filled with regrets at the end of your experience. If you opt for what you perceive to be the harder path now, which is doing the work to gain clarity over what actually matters to you as a human being, and having the courage to pursue that and put it out there, and and let people see that who you really are and what really matters to you, might be perceived as the hard path in the short term only, right? Because it takes courage. But in the long term, that pathway is going to lead you to a truly meaningful existence. Why? Because you aligned with what actually matters to you. You didn't let the external world direct the course of your life. You decided to shift into the inside state and operate and create a life from the inside out rather than the outside in. And what happens as a result is two very, very different existences that you are 100% responsible for which one you actually get to experience in this lifetime. Do you want to take the so-called easy short-term route of meaninglessness, habitual patterns, and just letting the outside world determine the course of action, the path of what you perceive to be least resistance? Or do you want to take the path that you might perceive to be more challenging, harder, requires more work, because you've got to go inside and you've got to determine the course of your life and what actually matters, and cut away the things that don't, and have the potential of upsetting people or creating conflict in your world? But knowing where that gets you, there's two very distinct choices available to you right now, and you cannot discount the fact that you are 100% responsible for exactly the path that you choose. A lot of people, handball the responsibility of their happiness to their job, to their children, to their partner, whoever that is, right? And they think, oh, well, they're supposed to make me happy. Those things. Money is supposed to make me happy. My kids should be successful and that will make me happy. My partner, they should make me happy, right? And what happens is that person takes this path. Oh, well, I'll just let life direct me down that direction. I'll let my partner choose. I'll let my, money choose. I'll let the external world choose. I'll let society choose. I'll let my friendships choose. And then what happens is they get to the end of their life and they think, is that it? Like, I didn't even do that thing. I wish I had stood up for that. I wish I had said no there. I wish I didn't let everybody else determine the course of my life. And now I'm filled with regrets and resentment because I blame them. I blame the very people that I handballed the responsibility of my life to, and now that's it. My life is over. But on the other side, the person who decides, you know what? I'm not going to wait another 5 years, 10 years, 20 years to the end of my life to build up all this resentment to these external sources and then blame them at the end of my life for how filled with regrets I am. No, I am going to choose this moment in time right here, right now, to realize that nobody is going to make me happy. No external circumstance is going to keep me fulfilled. That is 100% my responsibility. And I have to be the one who chooses the course of action for my life. So what I'm going to do right now, even though I might feel confused, even though I might feel down, even though I might feel lost and alone, I am going to know that the rest of my life is up to me, and I'm going to take this time to get clear on who I really am, what I really want, what matters to me, what my values are. You know, if I was choosing what my life looked like without filtering it through any person or circumstance or judgment, perceived judgment or opinion of anybody else, what would a life of real meaning look like to me? Not to anybody else, but to me as an individual. And that is the pathway that I am going to choose to move in the direction of, despite the conflict it might create, despite how people might not like what I'm doing, despite how the people closest to me might not like or approve of my changes. But at the end of the day, I have to know that if I do this, I'm going to be fulfilled. If I don't do this, I'm going to live a regret-filled life and be resentful at the people and the circumstances that I handballed the responsibility to. But at the end of the day, if I do take that path, I'm only going to be the one who is to blame at the end of that road. Just as if I take this road, you know, I'm the one to be blamed for that road as well. I'm the one who's responsible for the fulfillment that I experienced. I get to get that great blame, right? Rather than the blame of, you know, not choosing the life that was juicy to me, that was meaningful to me. I don't care if you don't know who you are right now. I don't care if you think you're confused, if you don't know what's really meaningful to you. I don't care. That's not the point. The point is, do the work now. Choose yourself, because nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody is going to lay out a life and go, hey, if you do this and you do that and you do that, and hey, I'll just take care of all of this and your life is going to be amazing. BS, right? Your life is only going to be amazing if you choose for it to be, and you know that the responsibility and the onus is on you. Okay, so I knew I was going to do a bit of a rant for this one, but it's super important because, you know, I'm seeing so many people just, you know, with this whole situation at hand right now, where like people are like, whoa, whose life am I living? And they're focusing so much on what they're missing, what's being taken away, the pain in the world right now, and they're letting that defeat them, rather than realizing that your fulfillment in life is, like I'm saying, 100% your responsibility. And if you don't feel like you are personally growing in a meaningful way to you as an individual, not the expectations of the external world, and you don't feel like you're contributing in some unique way that's in alignment with what matters most to you, whether that's with one person or a family or a community or the world, you're not going to be moving in the direction of a life truly lived, a life truly fulfilled, and you're going to have regrets if you don't move in a meaningful direction. Like today's message is all about, your life can either be meaningful or it can be meaningless, and you are 100% responsible for that. Don't get fixated on the past and the mistakes that you think you've made in your decisions. And don't just live for the moment in every single day without directing the course of your life. Take a moment today to realize and look at your life and look at the patterns of behavior. Look at the habits that you've consistently maintained that are just keeping you the same. Look at the patterns of thought and what you tell yourself and the excuses that are keeping you just in this same old pattern and cycle that you've been in for the last year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, your whole life, that aren't moving you to the place that you actually want to get to. And don't fall into the trap of never defining the kind of life that you actually want, because if you do that, you think, well, okay, I get to avoid failure, because if I never knew what I really wanted, I'll never know if I failed in getting there. You know, at the end of the day, a life failed is not one in the pursuit of a meaningful life that's been clearly defined. It is a failed life is one where you never defined what was meaningful to you, so you never moved off your butt, right? And you just continued to handball the responsibility to others, build up deeper and deeper resentments, build up more and more walls around your hurt and pain, and completely disconnect yourself from the life that you were born to live and the relationships and the depth and the meaning that you were meant to create, all right? So definitely hope that this message has served you. I definitely want to check in with you guys, see who's been able to join me. Please do drop any comments or words of wisdom or parts of your experience that you want to add to the conversation. But let me check in and see who's been able to join me. I have got Judy in the house, and George and AJ. You are so welcome, my friend. And Simon's here, and Alexan. I'm doing really well. Hope you are as well. And Troy's here, and Daryl from Canada. Awesome. And Quim and Anthony and Simon. Morning. Glorious day in Melbourne. It sure is. I'm really enjoying the sunshine, even if it was 4 degrees where I am this morning. Love that, Simon. And Alexandra, hey V, Charles and I are listening. #gratitude. Always gratitude when I get to see you guys join me live. Hope today's message is serving you guys. And Justin's here as well. Much love. And Tim, hi Vanessa, so glad I could make your live today. Awesome to have you. And you always have very timely information. When it all comes down to it, we need to go to work and focus on what matters, because towards the end of life, you will look back and ask that question. Did what I personally do matter? Absolutely. You keep going, Vanessa. You shine your light on everybody by sharing your message. I so appreciate such beautiful, kind words from you, Tim, and I absolutely agree. You know, at the end of the day, you know, that's what this whole circumstance is giving us the opportunity to look at. It's a stripping away of all the things that we get caught up in our lives, and we're left with a question. What actually matters? And, you know, I sat with my beautiful granny. You know, she's turning 95 this year. At the end of July, she'll be 95 years old. And I sat with her for 5 hours yesterday and spoke with her, and she was feeling really saddened. She was feeling really isolated, really depressed, and she's always been such a strong, you know, person in my family. And, you know, she was really, really working out, and over the existence of her life, the same lesson over and over again, you know, from escaping Nazi Germany, from, you know, being a survivor of the Holocaust and losing her parents, in concentration camps, and, you know, surviving the wars, and, you know, everything that we've had face humanity in the space of her 95 years on the planet. You know, time and time again, it comes back to the fact for her, and I feel like we can all learn from this, is that what really matters is the people closest to you. That you are feeling a sense of fulfillment, that you feel like you're growing, and that you can contribute and connect with people who are in alignment with you, and you're engaging in what matters and what's meaningful to you with other people. You know, she didn't just say family. You know, she said she's lost a lot of her friends and, you know, different people who were pivotal in her life. And she said it's almost even harder to lose her friends than it has been to lose family members. And the reason is because she said, you know, friends are kind of the family that you choose, because you choose them because you have these similar interests, and you get to kind of pitch and catch with one another. And, you know, you really opt to have that person in your life because of the connection that you can have. And I think that that's really important. You know, I was even having a conversation with her about how I'd spent 6 entire weeks by myself, and I felt more connected than ever. And the reason was because, yeah, okay, I wanted a hug and I wanted some physical connection with human beings, but I've been engaging in the level that I find juicy and meaningful with my coaching clients, with my with different people that I have in my life, and with the interviews that I've been doing and all that sort of thing. Engaging in what really matters to me, creating something that I feel is going to really contribute to the lives of others. And that's actually where the juice is, where your fulfillment is. So really, really important to listen into the self and ask yourself that question. You know, not only, like Tim said, you know, don't wait just till the end of your life and ask yourself, did what you personally do really matter? Ask yourself right now, is what I'm doing in this world really matter? Does it really matter? Does it matter to me, first and foremost? And is it mattering to other people that I care about, that I want to have a sense of contribution with? Okay, if it doesn't, now's the time to make a change. You want the clarity of the end of your life now. That's why it's so important to project into the future. Tony Robbins talks about the rocking chair test, where before making a decision, what he would do is project into his future. When he's a 90-year-old or however old he is, rocking in his rocking chair, reflecting over his life, right back to this moment and this decision in time, and going, did I make the right decision? Right? And looking from that perspective of what really matters. Because when you get to the end, that's when you really realize, you know, what mattered, what didn't matter. But we have the power to bring that into our conscious existence right now. So don't wait till the end. Decide now to be guided by what actually matters. So love that you brought that question into the conversation, Tim. You're a superstar. And clarity, clarity, clarity. You got it, absolutely. And Tim, your only competition is not the external or others, but the person you were yesterday. Absolutely. You know, and I even look at it a bit different. Not even competition. It's like collaboration. Collaboration with your past self, with your present self who's taking the action for your future self. You're like a team of three. Your past, your present, your future. Learn from the past part of your team. You know, take action with the present part of your team for the purposes of enlivening and creating more fulfillment and meaning for that part of your team that's in the future. So I love that, Tim. And Anthony, the life we are living now is the exact life we have chosen. You've got it. And whether you like to admit it or not, you're 100% responsible for your experience of life right now. It's been all the decisions that you've made. You know, the moment you stop being the victim to your life and your circumstances is the moment you become the creator of your life. And most people think it's a scary thing to take responsibility. I used to be there too. And now I've completely done a 180. And what I believe now is the scariest existence is one where you're not taking 100% responsibility for it. Okay? The most freeing thing that you can do for yourself is to take 100% responsibility for your life and your whole experience of it. Okay, that from that place, you put yourself in the position of choice point. You're not reliant on any external source. You are the creator of your life. And just know nobody is going to create your fulfillment for you. That's your job and that's what you're here to do. And the way that you do it is through personal progress in whatever, in alignment with what matters and what's meaningful to you, with a sense of contribution that your life actually contributes to others in whatever realm. You don't have to be, you know, somebody like me who's doing what I'm doing. You can be any single human being doing whatever realm of, you know, life that you want to do. You create your own individualized meaning. It starts from the inside. It works its way out, not the other way around. Nobody has those answers for you. You have them. All right. And love that, Anthony. And Aditya, how can one generate meaning in a survival mode? Great question. That's the thing. Most of us, we need a base level of, you know, having our survival needs taken care of in order to get outside of ourselves and desire to contribute to the lives of others. That's why, your pain, your struggles, it's actually your potential. It's your pathway. So to just know that if you're in a state of survival where you don't know when, you're going to be able to, if you're going to be able to keep a roof over your head or feed yourself or the people that you care about or whatever it is, if you're in a state of survival, what you need to do is firstly realize you're on the pathway to fulfillment. At every point, you're on the pathway, right? This is part of your journey. Right now might be a time where you have to really focus on what can I be doing to ensure my survival right now? How am I going to make that money? How am I going to feed myself? Whatever it is, you can start on that level. I've had moments in my life where, I've been in places across the globe where I had no money. I had like a couple of dollars and I didn't know how I was going to pay to have a roof over my head the following week. And I had to, eat a baguette to survive, because that's all I could buy. I've been in those circumstances in my own life, all right? So I know what it is to struggle to get beyond just yourself and your survival and get to this place of contribution and, inspiration. I know what that's like, because I was trying to build a business while I was struggling like that. It wasn't easy. And what I would say to you is that everything is on your way. You don't have to be at the top of your game right now. Just know that wherever you're at right now, whether that's in survival mode or maybe you've got all your survival needs taken care of, you're just lacking meaning and direction. Wherever you are on that spectrum is a key point in the pathway to your own fulfillment. So just do what you got to do. Focus where you've got to focus on and get support. There's support on a multitude of different directions there. And if you're unsure and unclear, you guys know I always leave my door open. If you want to reach out to me, if you feel I could support you, if I can't support you, I'll point you in the right direction. Just know that there are many people out there who are here to support you. You're never, ever, ever alone. There is always somebody who wants to help and support. But the fact of the matter is, nobody is going to be able to help and support you unless you as the individual accept 100% responsibility for your life and the creation of where you want to go. And it doesn't matter where you start, even if that is in survival mode. So appreciate that question, Aditya. And how can one take an ounce of courage in the direction of inner truth? The moment you connect with something that is truly true for yourself is the moment you generate the courage to step in that direction. And it seems paradoxical because a lot of people, myself in the past included, haven't even wanted to entertain the idea that their truth was different to the people in their external world, that they're trying to get the love, support, acceptance, or maybe those people are financially supporting them or whatever. There's this outward reliance. They don't even want to address their truth because they know deep down on a subconscious level that could disconnect them from that so-called life source, right? But at the end of the day, take it from me, take it from somebody who had my entire family disown me at a point where I took a different path from the life that they would have wanted for me, and I chose my own path. I experienced all of that, and I was able to actually cop and handle all the things that my past self, before I owned my truth, knew I couldn't have handled, right? I thought, I could never handle that, so that truth would never come up. But I got myself into an environment where I was forced to focus on my own personal development and taking responsibility for my life. And from that place, when I actually got clear on what that truth was for me, I suddenly generated the courage and the certainty to take that first step and handle all the things that I most feared in my external world, and to be able to do it from a place where I was unshakable, and that's the key. When you connect to the truth within you, you become stable, you become unshakable, all right? It's when you're wishy-washy about it, you're not clear within, and you're reliant on external sources that you're that fearful, driven person who can't take that step forward, all right? So just remind yourself of that. Hope that was helpful. And Simon, shaming, blaming, and justifying are poor behaviors and the behavior of victimhood, no power in that habit. Absolutely. Take responsibility leads to a positive and an empowered life. Love the rant, Vanessa. Awesome. I know, this one is just so close to my heart, and I'm actually creating something that I'm putting my absolute heart and soul into right now based on this, because I just think this is the pandemic. The pandemic is a lack of meaning in our lives and a confusion as to how we find the answers and get the courage to move in an inspired direction. All right, so I love that, Simon. Completely agree. And Aditya, how can one reveal that this is my truth when there is always next layer of evolution? Your truth is there's always a next layer of the evolution of your truth. Your truth as it is right now is based on your experiences of the world, right? And as you continue to grow and evolve as a human being, so too will your truth. So it's about rechecking in. It's about realigning. It's about having processes to turn up the volume on your internal truth and turn down the volume of those external voices. All right. And to keep checking in with that, because it's always going to change. What your truth was 5 years ago is very different to what it is today. And it's very different to what it'll be in 5 years from now. The point is personal evolution and reconnection with your internal truth. All right. So I hope that helps. Tim, that's the ultimate question. What do I really want? Absolutely. And most people get caught up with that question and they think, what do I really want from a materialistic, self-serving perspective? And then they keep doing that. And that's why we see so many rich and wealthy people who are totally unfulfilled, who look like they've got all this success, but then end up committing suicide. And the reason is because they've been self-serving or self-sacrificing, two opposite ends of the spectrum. And what that's connected to is the external world. What is it going to allow us to really answer that question properly so that it leads us in the direction of fulfillment is what is most meaningful to me. And based on that, what's the life that I really want to create? And make sure that that incorporates how you want to grow as an individual in alignment with what matters and what's meaningful to you, and how you'd be so fulfilled and proud of yourself for being able to make a meaningful difference in the lives of others on whatever scale that is, on a very, very small, even if it's just one other person. That's what life is all about, because if it wasn't, we'd just there'd be one human being on the planet, right? And we are meant to contribute to everybody else. We're meant to connect deeply. So I love that, Tim. Thanks for bringing it up. And Jose, thank you so much. You're so welcome. Grateful to have you and grateful that this is of value. And Justin's here as well, and Drew and Aditya. I think clarity of direction and courage to walk on your own meaningful, grander contributing vision are the power. But I know it all. But when taking action in that direction, there are many pauses, stops, and many few action plays. Yeah, exactly. Inaction breeds fear and doubt. Taking action breeds confidence and courage. Keep consistent daily actions. Make them easily attainable. Keep reminding yourself of your vision. Keep reminding yourself of your values and what matters most. Keep taking daily, consistent, easily attainable actions with your vision and what matters to you in mind at all times. And just know, you're going to have inevitable challenges. That doesn't mean life is too hard. That doesn't mean you should stop moving in a courageous direction. And also bring compassion to all you do and celebrate the wins, no matter how small. All right, there's a lot of C's in that. But I love that, and I hope that resonates. And thank you for sharing, Aditya. And Daryl, one great thing, you can change friends in and out of building your dream team for a state of alpha. That's interesting. Yeah, so you're in control of who you bring into your team, absolutely. And I think that, we're always going to get further in life when we surround ourselves with people who are on that same path or whose paths support ours. All right, there's a real alignment there. So absolutely. And and just know that, you want to be your best teammate as well. Be on your own team. I see time and time again, too many of us, criticizing, judging, over expectations, no appreciation of our own selves. And then we wonder why we're procrastinating and falling off the wagon of moving towards a brighter future. I wouldn't want to work for somebody like that. That's why we get out of jobs. The number one reason why people leave their workplace is because of lack of appreciation. Remember, you're your own boss. You're the one motivating you in the direction of your dreams and goals or not, and how you treat yourself will determine how inspired you are to show up for yourself. All right. So keep that in mind as well. And Linda, super message. Yes, don't wait. Love that this resonated, beautiful. And Simon, love that. The team, yep. Your past self, your present self, your future self. I love that. And Jose, I think we are a reflection of our decisions. Absolutely. Every decision is what got you exactly to this point right now. So totally. And so bear that in mind with the decisions that you're making right now. Is this leading me towards a meaningful existence or a meaningless existence? All right. Just that's it. Is it meaningful? Is it meaningless? And just know they're your options. The meaningless, project out into the future. Is that what you want to experience? The meaningful, project out into the future. Is that what you want to experience? Align with the future that you want to create. So love that. And dropping bombs there, Simon. I love it. And Chris is here. And DV, hello to you. And Emmanuel and Carl and Aditya, thanks for sharing your experience. You're so welcome, my friend. Grateful to have you here. And thank you so much for your questions. And Tim, thank you once again, Vanessa. You're so welcome, my friend. Appreciate you showing up and contributing to today's conversation. And Sunny, totally agree. Well said. Grateful that this resonated. And Moises is here. Thank you so much for your kind words. Hope you're doing well. And DB, always keep the power and keep moving forward with what has come to you. You always will grow within yourself and stay positive. Absolutely. Totally, and make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who are on that same wavelength, like I'm mentioning to you guys all the time. That's exactly why I created the Limitless Potential Academy, so that we can all be surrounded by amazing human beings who get this stuff, who want to support and encourage and challenge you to reach for your next level, to create that meaningful existence and not just settle for mediocrity and meaninglessness. So if you want to be a part of that network and that community, reach out to me, DM me, and I'll send you the details. Can't wait to have you guys, that growing community expanding. It's such a beautiful place to be all of who you are and continue to grow and reach for your greatness. So I love that. DB, thanks for sharing. And Sunny, execution matters are not just thoughts. Absolutely. Look for solutions. As they say, many reasons why we can't do it. Find one reason how we can and get it done. Sunny, I absolutely love that. So spot on. Most of us, just focusing on our thoughts. We're not taking action, like you're saying. We are looking at all the problems or all the reasons why we shouldn't even bother, rather than the solutions, exactly like you're saying. And, all those excuses, all those reasons why we can't, why we shouldn't, is that the life that you want to default into? Or do you want to design something that maybe, the probability is determined by your mindset, right? So we all know the Henry Ford quote, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right, so, make sure that you are in alignment with everything, your thoughts, your beliefs, your feelings and emotions. Make sure that everything is being expressed and owned and consciously questioned. Question those thoughts. Are they leading you towards a meaningful existence or a meaningless existence? Everything comes down to that. So just bring that conscious awareness around everything that you're thinking, experiencing, and doing. Absolutely. Love that, Sunny. And Bobby's here as well. And Tim. One of my favorite people I followed once gave this bit of advice. Continue sharing and giving even if no one is listening. Absolutely. Eventually people will hear you, or in other words, will tune into your authentic truth, but do the work. Continue to share and give. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Tim, I absolutely love those amazing words, and there is such truth there. You know, make sure that what you do is coming from the inside out, and by doing so, you will be able to remain consistent because it's authentically inspired. If you try and mold something towards getting something from your external world, so you're trying to take something rather than contribute something, that's a very different rocky road. You know, you'll end up stopping and starting and being totally thrown off path if nobody gives you the likes or the acknowledgement that you're expecting. So I completely resonate with that, Tim, and they are very, very powerful and empowering words. So I love that. And Robert, hello to you, and Patty, awesome. Hi Vanessa, we'll have to listen to this again as just signed on. Always love catching you live. Always love seeing you, Patty, and please do catch this from the beginning, and any of you guys who are just joining now and get a ton of value from it. So I really want to thank each and every one of you guys for showing up live with me today, contributing your questions and your experiences and joining in the conversation. Gives me so much gratitude and just, so much energy for the rest of the day when I get to connect with you guys on what I perceive to be the meaningful things that we need to put our focus and attention on so that we can absolutely create true fulfillment in our lives and not waste our time in this existence. So Sunny, I remember 3 years ago, I hated the way property management business is done in our Canadian market. I found people that believed in the same vision as mine and launched software that is getting a lot of attention. It's been a blessing not giving up and keeping persistent with making others' lives easy. You have an awesome contagious spirit. Oh, and love your channel, Vanessa. Appreciate listening to you and building this community forum. Oh, thank you so much for such a beautiful, kind word, Sunny. It touched my heart, absolutely. And I love that you brought some of your experience to what we're talking about today, to get clear on what actually matters to you and to know that it's usually not going to be easy, right? Because you don't want it to be easy. Because remember, part of the equation of your fulfillment is your own personal growth. You're not going to grow if it's just easy and you don't have to change, or you don't have to think differently, or you don't have to be challenged in some way, right? So you want the challenge. You just want to make sure that it's meaningful so that you can do something that you can stay consistent and persistent with. And particularly, like you said, Sunny, knowing that what you've been working on for the past 3 years is contributing to the lives of others. All right. So I love hearing that. I appreciate you sharing that. And also Danny has joined as well. So any of you guys just joining, catch the recording because I'm just about to sign off. But as always, I'm sending you guys all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I really do hope that it's beautiful for you. It's amazing. It's extraordinary that you're doing something super empowering. And today's message, as always, has definitely served you. Did get into a rant with this one only because I really, really care about you guys. I really, really care about human beings feeling fulfilled. You know, when we are fulfilled human beings, we are growing and we're contributing and we're kind and we're generous, you know, and when we are not fulfilled and when we're lacking meaning, that's where our darkness comes out to play. That's where we create unnecessary pain and trauma for one another. And so at the end of the day, I feel like you know, if you want to change this world, you've got to start with yourself. And nobody is going to do it for you. Remember, the responsibility is 100% yours. Get clear on what actually matters to you. Get clear on a vision you'd be inspired by, that you'd actually be inspired to grow towards, and that is connected to a sense of making a meaningful difference in the lives of others. And I guarantee you, if you do that, you will create a life of personal meaning and fulfillment. You'll get to the end of your life feeling fulfilled rather than filled with regret, resentment. All right, so hope this has served you. I'm signing off, sending you guys all of my love. Thanks again for joining me live, and I'll see you tomorrow.